Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So one thing I've learned in life, especially in the last couple of years, at least in my journey, that there's no guarantees in life. Nothing is guaranteed. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You think you do, but you don't. Be honest. You can't guarantee anything. So for that, you should have a backup plan in life, whatever it may be. You know, the plan B. We're going to talk about that today with an amazing life coach that helps people along the way all the time navigate their life, even with their escape plans. And she's with phoenixcoaching.org. Coach Michelle G is back with us. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you, Steve?
I'm good. I'm good. And I have I've embraced the plan B. And before we jumped in today, you brought it up that you had a client that you talked about the escape plan.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I thought of it seconds ago that I always have things in case life changes, turns. There's always like a backup going on there. I think instinctively I needed to do that. So now I automatically do it.
Right.
But it's, you learn that in life. There is nothing guaranteed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I love the idea of having like a plan B, but also it can be a hindrance as well. So like, there's the weird balance of it, because of course, like, as you said, a lot of times things don't go the way we want them to. So it's like, okay, how else can I still do it? But at the same time, and from my like own personal experience, it's been like working towards my business, but like, hey, I have this other job that gives me income. So like, it's okay if my business doesn't succeed. Or a lot of people with relationships, it's like, well, I mean, if it doesn't work out, I know I'll be fine. And I feel like people use it as an excuse to not be committed to whatever they're working towards.
Never thought of it that way, that it can be a release on your commitment for something.
Yeah.
And especially with relationships, let's face it, a lot of times you might be in a relationship, but you got one floating out here and you got somebody floating out over here.
Yeah.
Because you never know, and maybe you want somebody to hang out with just to have a plan. Hey, what do you want to do? Friday night, what's going on? So a lot of people float a bunch of different people around, and I'm not saying that's a good thing as long as you're honest with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a time and place for that, of course. If that's what you want to do and you're open to it and you're open to all your partners, then fine, that's okay. But also, it's just being true to you. And it's like, are you using it as an excuse to not be all in? So like, if you took away that plan B, if you closed the door on that, you had no other option, how committed would you be to achieving your goals, a job, a business, a relationship, whatever it is?
Yeah, it really is
all
true.
in?
Yeah. Because you didn't step in the doorway. You have one foot outside the door.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that you put it that way, because it is. You don't have both feet all in. It's just like, I'm gonna test out this. Like, I always have this as an option just in case. But you know what? I'm gonna try on this one goal. It's fine. Yeah.
How do you release? I guess it comes down to fear. Fear of, that it won't work out, or not having the trust and faith in yourself as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, those two often go hand in hand, but especially when it comes to goals or things that are really meaningful to us, it's being willing to risk not having it, or being willing to risk it not going the way you want it to, or whatever. There's always a risk involved in anything we do. And Steve, as you said, nothing is guaranteed. So it's easy to be like, well, I can't be promised I'm going to have this, so I'll just do it in my comfort zone. I'm just going to do like the minimum to say I did it. Like, of course, this doesn't usually happen consciously. It's just like behind the scenes somewhere in your brain. But yeah, it is having that doubt, that second guessing in yourself of just like, well, maybe you've tried it before and it didn't work. And so now you have that thought going on and be like, well, last time I did this, it didn't work. So I need a plan B just in case this doesn't work this time. Instead of showing up and being like, no matter what, I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, really good point. Because when you truly put your all into something, More times than not, it works out
Yeah.
because you're so focused on it. You've used your energy, whether you knew it or not, to attract it to you and make it
Yeah.
what you wanted it to be. And when I say nothing is guaranteed, I don't say that so that we come from a place of fear, like, oh my gosh, that's what could happen tomorrow. No, it's more of a being open to change and
Mhm.
pivoting when you need to, because the things you think are guaranteed, I'm sorry, they're not. Nothing doesn't matter.
Yeah. I
Name one
actually,
thing, and I'll you can't. We're
yeah,
not guaranteed tomorrow. Your
no,
relationship is not guaranteed tomorrow. You might think it is. There's no guarantee there. You
definitely
like to
not.
think, you come from a place of, yeah, everything's great, secure. You don't know that for a fact. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. You don't. Your job, come on. It's
Yeah.
there's more than ever in the last couple of years, there isn't any loyalty
Mm,
for employers. There just isn't.
no.
Things may be great now, and I don't mean this to be negative, but it's reality. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And the only thing we are guaranteed is this moment right now. And
Exactly.
so, like, what are you going to do with this moment? I actually read something the other day of somebody like has changed how they live their life. And it's basically like, what if this was the last? So, like, what if this was the last time I got to like talk to my mom? What would you say? How would you be? What if this was the last time that I went to hug my partner? What if this was the last time I went to work? What if this was the last time, whatever it is, insert that in there? How would you be? Would you be negative? Would you talk bad about somebody? Whatever it is, probably not. You're like,
Hmm.
if this was the last time I saw you, I'm not going to say something mean. Like, I want this to end on a really good note. At least that's how I would show up. Maybe some people would be like, you know what? I've got a bone to pick with this person. I want to say this.
Yeah, yeah. Are you
But
really going to do that? If it's the last time,
I mean, who
people
knows?
do that. I've heard stories. No, I've
Yeah.
I've heard stories that
Yeah.
that has happened. But I guess the look back to the song "Live Like You're Dying." I don't know if you remember
Mm,
that song. I think it was in the early 2000s,
yeah. I think,
maybe late
yeah.
90s, and it's about a guy. And I just looked up, the lyrics here, and the chorus is, "I went skydiving. I went Rocky Mountain climbing. I went 2.7 seconds on a bull. I love deeper, spoke sweeter." I mean,
Yeah.
it's all there. Just what
Yeah.
you said. Tomorrow's not, you're not going to be here tomorrow. What are you going to do?
Exactly. And I feel like I love that. And I'm glad that I found it. I don't even know what it was, Instagram, I think. Um, but it's like if today was your last day and you knew it, would you live in fear? Would you be afraid and be like, oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm scared of it? Or would you actually step into it? Would you tell the person how you feel about them? Would you reach out to someone and be like, you know what? I actually really do love you, whether it's a friend, it can be a stranger. Like you can love strangers, it's completely different love, of course, but like, would you go skydiving if that's something you've always wanted to do, or would you still put it off? So, like, what are you holding yourself back from right in this moment because you're afraid or it doesn't make sense to do? And instead, what if this was your last opportunity to do it? Would you?
Well, we've often said that before, that the things you worry about don't happen.
Usually, yeah.
Usually not. Research proves it. I speak in facts. That's how, I operate.
Mhm.
And go look at the studies. Go look at the research on it. That 90, I think the last time they did that study is 2 years ago.
Yeah.
93% of the things that you worry about never take place. You wasted your time. You wasted your
Yeah.
energy on marinating over these things that you didn't need to.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I would go running to do all those things to make
Yeah.
sure I get them all done in a day. If I only have a day, be
Exactly.
it reach out to people, um, be it skydiving, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you asked me that maybe, 5 years ago, I probably would have said, I don't know. I'm not really sure how to answer
Yeah.
that. But that's yeah, everybody's got a journey, and you live and learn on that. There was a there was a time I worked a lot of years at a job that I got when I was literally 17. It was
Mm.
my dream job. I stayed there for a long time. Great job. Still, I talk to people now that remember me from that job in
Mm.
media. And one day I left, and it was a mutual departing. And I woke up, and it wasn't feeling right anymore. It just got to the point where then I was looking at other opportunities within the company. And I remember waking up on a Monday and I said, Wednesday's your last day. And
Mm,
it was hard because I was, literally a kid, when I got that job,
yeah.
and I left. And then I said, now what am I going to do? I didn't have a
Yeah.
plan. I didn't have a plan B. Did. I had some severance, so I rode that out.
Mhm.
But as the universe works,
Yeah.
I found out right after I left that job that my son had a serious medical issue
Mm,
that I needed to focus on, and it was big. Uh, everything turned out fantastic, but the clock was ticking.
yeah.
So I feel like even the universe said, "Yeah, you got to leave that because there's no way you could work and focus on what you got to do here."
Right.
And then I decided to pivot in a different direction after
Yeah.
that. And it all kind of worked out. But I didn't have a plan B. But I say now, always have a plan B. Even if it's
Right.
your job, have something floating out there, side
Yeah.
hustle, whatever it might
Well,
be.
yeah, and it goes back to that just trusting yourself. That no
Hmm.
matter what happens, you trust that you're going to be okay, that you'll figure it out, that like
Yep.
you won't drown. And even if that's reaching out to somebody, like if you have a support network, knowing you can reach out to them and they will support you. Like you said, like I left a job, oh, when did I leave that? 2018. It got to the point where my mental health was not benefiting from being there. I left, had nothing set up. I was unemployed for 3 months. Like, and I was like, I just know I can't be here anymore. And I just
Yep.
trusted that
Yep.
I will find a job somewhere. It'll be okay. I'll do what I got to do, but I need to get out of this situation.
Yep.
I didn't have a plan B either. Like, I'll be unemployed for a bit. I can afford it for however long. I'm
Hmm.
like, I know I'll be okay. I'll find something at some point. And yeah, it's
Well, looking back on all of that, the one thing I see is, why did I worry about it? Why
yeah,
did I worry about money? Even after, that years after, had another job, did this, did that, still worried about it because I
yeah,
didn't trust in it. I didn't trust in myself. I didn't trust in the process, the universe, having that
yeah,
kind of faith. And I don't mean just religious faith. I mean just faith in yourself and everything else.
yeah.
If I could go back, I would have taken that away from myself and not worry. Like, it's gonna be okay. You'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just taking that. And I feel like that's why many people have that, like, well, I have my foot standing back here just in case. Like, I have one foot out the door just in case. And it's coming from that kind of like scarcity mindset of like, I don't have enough to be able to do this, or like, it won't bring me enough, or whatever it is. And like looking at what I might lose out on and focusing on what might not work and what might not happen instead of just like jumping all in. Because like, I don't have kids, but I know a lot of people who do.
Hmm.
Like, um, and it's basically like, as you said, like your kid had a medical thing come up. You would do anything to make sure he was good. Parents would do anything to make sure their kids were okay. If you have like a family, 4 kids, parents, your car breaks down, you would do anything to get a car as fast as you could. So
And you will.
why, yeah, and you will, absolutely, because you're that determined, you're that focused, you're that committed. So why don't we do that with our own goals? Why do we have that back door? Why do we have one foot in, one foot out? Instead of being like, do you know what? No matter what, I'm gonna make this work.
Hmm.
And if you need to, like give yourself a time frame. I will go all in for like 4 months, whatever that looks like, maybe a year, who knows? And if it doesn't work, then okay. Then I'll shift, I'll do something else.
Yep. 100%. And if you were going in that direction in the first place,
Yeah.
there's a reason. It's
Exactly.
it's in you. Your gut said, yeah, I should be doing this. Maybe that's your purpose, but you're not all in because you're afraid and you're holding on to this over here.
Yeah.
And you can't swim that way when you're holding on to something over here. It's just not going to work. You
Exactly.
just brought back a memory I want to share with you.
Yeah.
Kind of personal, but in that situation where I left that job,
Mhm.
and then I realized my son was sick. And then I was like, all right, I need to find a specialist that's going to literally cut his skull open at that moment.
Okay.
And I'm going doctor after doctor. and it's not just not making sense. And I remember driving one day, it was a rainy day. I was driving out of New York City, and I just said, all right, as I'm driving to myself, all right, universe, I'm trying to believe in you. I need a sign. Just show me that somebody is listening. Show me that somebody is there. I am not
Yeah.
kidding you. When about a minute later, I look at an overpass and there's a billboard that says, Stephen, do I have your attention now?
Oh my gosh.
It was a ad campaign for a TV show on, I think it was True TV. And it was, the campaign was an ex saying something to her ex.
Mm.
And there was some other language in there
Yeah,
that's irrelevant. But all I saw was that. Stephen, do I have your attention now? And I was like, oh, okay.
got
This
it.
thing is good. All right. And then a
Yeah.
week later, picked a doctor and a team, and everything was great. And even after the surgery, and he was 9 months old at the time,
Mm.
he, like hours after the surgery, popped up in bed. He's smiling. Everything's great. And he it took some time to heal and it was all good. But that was my first, call it my first connection to this thing called the universe,
Yeah.
that you're going to be okay if you just, if you
Yeah.
believe it and ask for signs too,
And
if you need to.
yeah, and I love that because like, and so universe, God, whomever anyone listening talks to, it's you get to ask. Like all you have to do is ask and be open to receiving it. And like I love that example because
Oh,
many
same
examples of
here.
just like asking for signs. And usually like
Same here.
many times in the past I'll be like, okay, I want a sign, and like I pick something specific because otherwise I don't believe it. But then I'll like get the sign and then be like, okay, but I need a signier sign. Like, and then I don't trust it. And so recently,
Mm.
I was driving, usually when I'm driving, let's be real. And I was like, okay, I'm getting so like overwhelmed. Am I even supposed to be in this business? Am I supposed to be in this relationship? Am I supposed to be in this where I am in life? And I'm like, all right, universe, God, I summoned all the things, like guardian angels and like anyone who's willing to talk to me. I was like, I want a sign. And I was like, let's do a flamingo. Because I'm like, I'm in Canada in the winter. I'm not going to see a flamingo.
Are you,
Like,
you are tough.
like I was like, I'm going to make sure that if I see it, I will know. And lo and behold, I saw like this, like a bush sculpture of a flamingo. And I was just like laughed to myself. And I'm like, of course. And I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. Let's stick in this and like, let's keep going.
Keep going.
Like,
You
yeah.
keep going is a great way to put it. If you're
Yeah.
already in a direction and you truly believe that you should be in that direction, and you have to take that time to listen to within, continue
Yeah.
in that direction. I'll give you another on the sign thing. I needed an answer for a challenge that personal thing that's going on. It's been, a while, and I need an answer. And
Yeah.
I was driving. This is last Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm like,
Okay.
I need an answer. The answer is there. The answer is
Mhm.
there, and I need it. Please, universe. I prayed to my mom too. I'm like, come on,
Okay.
just give it to me.
Yeah.
The song "Let It Be" popped in my head by the Beatles. There
Yeah.
will be an answer. Let it be. Mother Mary calls to me. Rose Mary's my mom's name. Kid you
Mm.
not. I get here. 30 minutes later, I get a phone call. It was the answer.
Wow.
It was the answer. And
Yeah.
everything came clear. It's like, thank you very much. I even print that the lyrics. I printed them out. I was like, and why did that thing drop into my head? Let it be. There will be an answer. And I got the
Yeah.
answer. And
That's
it was
beautiful.
pinnacle.
I
Uh,
love it.
Anybody that listens and thinks, watching like, that's foo-foo stuff. Come on. I got nothing for you. All I have
Yeah.
is that those are the facts. I
Uh,
asked, I got it.
yes.
Here we go.
Anyone who thinks it's fulfill, and like I get it. I don't always believe it. I'm like, how does this even happen? It can't. It's fine. I question the universe a lot. Um, I invite you to try it. Just
Please.
try it and just be like, ask for the most like ridiculous thing, like a elephant wearing a hat. I don't know. Like I have gone to like ridiculous things because I'm like, no, like part of me didn't want to believe that this is what was supposed to be happening. So I'm like, okay, let's go extremely ridiculous because what are the chances I'm going to see it? And just like do it. It can be about anything. It can just be about like, should I talk to this person today? Should I go into work today? Like something that you kind of know the answer to, maybe, and just like ask. Just be like, okay, give me a sign. And then be open to it looking a different way than you expect it to.
That's the key. That's the key. Personally, I don't ask for just any sign. I need when I'm making a phone call in my mind, it's the big
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
It's almost, and that's just me. It's almost like, I'm a genie and you have 3 wishes.
Right.
I don't want to waste my wishes. But there's nothing wrong in doing what you're doing. You're just validating it.
Yeah.
But you gotta be open to it. You have to
Yeah.
not try to see something, but just be open to seeing something, because it may even come in a different form. You might not even know, but you got to be plugged in.
Exactly. And as like you, maybe you don't go super grand and like crazy with the sign you ask for. That's okay too.
But
Like,
the answers I get, they're big. It's big stuff. It's like,
yeah,
big life situations that,
yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah.
uh,
And I will often put like a time frame on it. So like by the end of today or like by the end of the week, because for me, I'll convince myself it didn't happen, even if it's
hmm,
like ruminating. And
hmm.
so it's just like, okay, by the end of today. And sometimes I just think it and then I'm like, do we really want to commit to that? And then it happens anyway. I'm like, cool. Okay. Um,
But that's
but yeah,
interesting that you said that, because it's also when you manifest, you get specific.
yeah,
This is this. You're not just going to say, I want to meet a great person. Then I'm done.
right.
Okay, great. No, it's this, the qualities are here. Here's the timeline. Here's a date. Um, I look for specifics. I
Mhm.
am the most skeptical on the planet. So I need to have those specifics. There was even a time last year I was driving and I reached out to my mom and I said, I need you to show me a sign that it's going to be okay. This thing that's coming up. I need,
Yeah.
and I was driving into a parking lot where I was dealing with something in a situation, and I prayed to it the night before. That morning, driving there, never forget it. It was like 9:20 in the morning, and I looked down at my center console on my energy drink, and it's her date of birth on the
Wow.
expiration date. 1 in 365 chance. I got you on that. Okay,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then my friend says to me, "Yeah, that's super cool, but what are the chances that you were looking down at that moment?" He goes, "That's the bigger thing. Like,
Yeah.
who looks down at their drink and looks at the expiration date? I wasn't looking for it. I was just like, I happened to look down, like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but be specific then. I'm going to try being specific. Let me, let's see if we
Absolutely.
get
Yeah.
back. Hmm.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
like sometimes if I don't see it and I want to see it, I'll ask for it again.
Yeah.
But also just like if you really want a sign, like truthfully to guide you, listen to it.
Yep.
So if it says don't be in a situation, but you can't bear to take yourself out of it, don't ask for the sign.
Say that again. I want to make sure I got that.
So if you ask for a sign, be like, should I be in this situation? It can be a job, it can be a relationship, whatever. Like, should I be here? And you don't get the sign, basically saying no, don't be in it. You have to be ready to accept that.
Got it.
So
Okay.
like if you're just like, should I be in this relationship? Give me a sign if I should stay. And then you don't get the sign. You have to understand that it's saying no, don't be in it. And if you're not ready to leave, then don't ask.
Fair enough. Fair
Or
enough.
ask, but listen to it.
But I truly believe that it's in you. You
Yeah.
already know the answer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's there.
We know everything. And that's why I love like coaching is because the answer's in you. I
Yep,
just help you find it.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
we know,
you're the
we just stopped
flashlight.
listening to our intuition.
You're the flashlight.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the mirror, because you're holding it up.
More so the mirror. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
But it's there, and that's why, we go back to what we said in the plan B, that you have to trust in yourself in that
Yeah.
direction wherever you're going. I'm not saying don't have a plan B, but don't have it, like we said, most importantly, don't have a plan B that's holding you back from plan A,
Yeah.
because you're not, you're hurting yourself by doing that. There's a reason you were going to plan A. Now, maybe plan A is not the best option. Then you need to search within yourself to ask yourself or ask the universe, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And anyone who you're like, I haven't reached this goal, I've been working towards it, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm going to challenge you, like, have you been working towards it? Have you been fully invested? Because I've said that too. And I'm like, no, I've been like half-assing this attempt. But it's like, have you really been in it? And what would it look like for you to do that this year? What would it look like for you to be like, okay, I have a plan B, but I'm going to do just plan A for this year and see what happens, what I'm capable of.
Yep. Really immerse yourself in it if you believe in it. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's you have this amazing idea. If you don't, you're really just hurting yourself, because there's a reason you started it. There's a reason you were going in that direction. Again, if you feel it, I mean, if you're in a relationship and you're like, it's all right. All right. Well, you've got the answer right there.
Yeah, exactly. Just listen to yourself. You'll tell you.
It's funny. I got another song popped in my head, Roxette. And it's been redone a couple of times. Listen to your heart, and that's also about a relationship, but really that's what it comes down to. You gotta listen. Not easy. You got to clear everything out, all the noise and everything around there, so you can hear it. But I guess once you figure out how to do that, the answers come clearer.
Yeah. So something that's helped me, and maybe it'll help everyone listening, is first thought, best thought.
Say that again.
First thought, best thought.
So I've often heard that if you're asking your gut, what's the right answer? The first one that pops in your head is the answer. Typically the answer, and it's usually the easy answer. And you usually say, it can't be that easy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Or even just like, if your partner's like, hey, what do you want to eat tonight? And like your instinct is like, I want tacos with ice cream and like whatever. And you're like, oh, I don't know. Then you're not listening to your instinct. You're not listening to your intuition. You're already shutting it down. So it can be as simple as that, of just like, what do you want to do tonight? And there's going to be something that comes up, but most of the time we like push it down because we're like, no, we can't say that.
I feel that many times we ignore that because it seems kind of reckless in a loose kind of way.
Yeah.
Like you're impulsive. Like you're just like, all right, I'm gonna do that. And you haven't really thought about it.
Right. So there could be, it could go that way. Absolutely. Like it could go into something dangerous, but most of the time it's just like our inner desires that we haven't let out.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, well, what would your life look like if you actually like gave into your desires now and then? If you lived through that passion, what would your life be like at that moment?
I'd be eating lots of tacos and ice cream.
Perfect. I like it.
Tacos. I know you're in Canada. Do you have Taco Bell there? Do they have that there?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yep. Yep. I know it's bad when they hand you the shopping bag at the window at the drive-thru. It's like, oh, I'm about to do some damage here.
You're like, all right.
Yep. That was my first instinct. Always good talking with you. I know that you're available to help people and guide them and pull the answer out of them, because it's like we said, it definitely is within. Phoenixcoaching.org is your website, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody go there and start the process, conversation, just talk a little bit and learn a little bit of how you work with people, but at the same time, you'll learn about yourself, in a very short period of time, I'm sure. Michelle, always great talking with you.
You too, Steve. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.